Isoke gathered all her strength, and even though she was now obese, ran as fast as she could, breaking through the wall. Now free, she knew what she had to do to break the curse. In a peaceful village, Isoke lived with her father and her new stepmother, Adana. Though initially kind, Adana soon revealed her jealousy of Isoke's beauty. To hide Isoke's charm, Adana made her wear oversized, unflattering clothes under the guise of modesty. Isoke felt confused and humiliated, unable to understand why she had to cover herself so completely, but she obeyed to keep the peace at home. Adana's jealousy of Isoke intensified during a village festival when Isoke received numerous compliments and attention from men, including Adana's past husbands and their sons. The attention Isoke garnered made Adana feel threatened and overshadowed, fueling her envy and fear of losing her status in the village. Determined to diminish Isoke's appeal, Adana sought out a solution. She remembered an old woman living on the outskirts of the village who was rumored to have knowledge of dark magic. Under the cover of night, Adana visited the old woman and begged for a way to curse Isoke. The old woman, sensing Adana's desperation, agreed to help and brewed a potion designed to cause rapid weight gain. Adana secretly slipped the potion into Isoke's drink that night during dinner. The next morning, Isoke noticed her clothes fitting tighter but thought little of it. However, over the following days and weeks, her body changed rapidly. She became increasingly distressed as her once fitting clothes became uncomfortably tight, and she struggled to understand what was happening to her. Isoke's father, deceived by Adana's explanations, dismissed Isoke's concerns as natural changes and assured her there was nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, Adana watched with concealed satisfaction as Isoke's beauty was overshadowed by her rapid weight gain, believing her plan had succeeded. As Isoke's weight continued to increase, she faced ridicule and isolation from the villagers. Her once admired beauty was now a source of mockery. Young men who had once admired her now avoided her, making cruel jokes about her appearance. They laughed at her expense, calling her names and openly mocking her in public. Some would even go as far as throwing stones or mud at her when she walked by. Invitations to gatherings and festivals stopped coming, and the social circles she once enjoyed now closed their doors to her. The young men who once dreamed of marrying her now sought other prospects, leaving Isoke heartbroken and lonely. Although there was some hope for Isoke, as some men seemed genuinely interested in her, they flattered her with kind words and genuine compliments, showing that they truly liked her for who she was. Feeling a glimmer of hope and relief, Isoke began to trust them, cherishing the small moments of kindness amidst her daily struggles. She found herself smiling again, albeit cautiously, and dared to dream of a future where she was accepted and loved despite her physical changes. These men would sometimes visit her at home, bringing small gifts and sharing stories that made her laugh. Isoke started to feel a sense of normalcy returning to her life. However, this hope was cruelly shattered one day when Isoke was on a date with one of the men who had shown interest in her. They were sitting by the village fountain, enjoying a quiet moment, when a group of the other men approached. They began to jeer and laugh, revealing that they had all been in on a cruel joke. They mocked her trust and naivety, openly declaring that their interactions with her were nothing but a game. The man she was with joined in, calling her foolish and pathetic. They laughed about the small gifts they had given her, calling them charity for the fat girl. The public humiliation left Isoke devastated. This betrayal stung more than the open mockery from others, as it exploited her deepest vulnerability and desire for acceptance. Feeling more isolated and despondent than ever,
Isoke withdrew further into herself, her heart heavy with sorrow. Determined to find a solution, Isoke sought advice from an old herbalist who lived on the outskirts of the village. The herbalist, known for her knowledge of natural remedies and mystical occurrences, listened to Isoke's plight. She sensed dark magic at play and examined Isoke for signs of a curse. Confirming her suspicions, she advised Isoke to seek the help of the wise elder who lived in the mountains, known for his ability to break powerful curses. With newfound hope, Isoke prepared for a challenging journey. However, her physical condition made traveling difficult. She found herself too heavy and exhausted to walk long distances, let alone climb the treacherous mountain paths. She needed to find a solution to make the journey possible. Meanwhile, Adana discovered Isoke's plan to seek the elder's help. Determined to ensure Isoke remained cursed, she secretly added ingredients to Isoke's food to make her lethargic and weak, hoping to prevent her from completing her journey. Despite these challenges, Isoke's determination grew stronger. She enlisted the help of a kind-hearted neighbor who provided her with a sturdy walking stick and a small cart to help her carry supplies. This neighbor also secretly provided Isoke with meals and encouragement, helping her stay focused on her goal. Finally, after several grueling weeks of preparation, Isoke felt ready to make the journey to the elder's dwelling. With a protective charm and words of encouragement from the herbalist, she set off, determined to find a way to break the curse.
Isoke embarked on her journey to the mountains, facing numerous obstacles along the way. Despite her preparation, the path was arduous, and she often felt overwhelmed by the physical challenges. Her progress was slow, but she pushed forward, driven by the hope of breaking the curse. Even though she walked long distances, the curse ensured that any weight she lost came right back, adding to her exhaustion. One night, as she camped by a small stream, Adana's sabotage came to light. The food she had packed from her stepmother began to make her feel unusually weak and nauseous. Isoke felt a strange feeling about why this food made her feel bad, but couldn't figure it out and pushed on in determination. She discarded the tainted supplies and relied on the knowledge she had gained from the herbalist to find edible plants and clean water. As Isoke climbed higher, the terrain became more difficult and the weather grew harsher. She encountered wild animals and had to navigate through dense forests and rocky cliffs. Each step was a battle, but Isoke's resolve never wavered. The sturdy walking stick and small cart provided by the kind-hearted neighbor proved invaluable, helping her manage the steep and treacherous paths. During her journey, Isoke stopped at a neighboring village to rest and replenish her supplies. Initially, her arrival was met with mixed reactions. Some villagers, recognizing her from her former beauty, were shocked at her appearance and whispered among themselves. However, Isoke's kind and helpful nature soon won over a few of the villagers. She helped an elderly woman carry water from the well, and her strength and perseverance impressed those who saw her. Grateful for Isoke's assistance, the elderly woman offered her a place to stay for the night and shared a meal with her. That evening, Isoke learned about a local boy who had gone missing in the nearby woods. Remembering the elder's words about true compassion and bravery, Isoke decided to help. Despite her physical exhaustion, she joined the search and eventually found the boy trapped in a ravine. With the villagers' help, she managed to rescue him and bring him back safely. The villagers were astonished by Isoke's bravery and selflessness. Their attitudes towards her began to change, and they offered her food and supplies for the rest of her journey. The boy's family in particular expressed their deep gratitude and promised to speak well of her to others. With renewed strength and support, Isoke continued her journey. She also found solace in the protective charm given by the herbalist, which seemed to shield her from some of the harsher elements and dangers. Finally, after several days of relentless travel, Isoke reached the elder's dwelling. Exhausted and in pain, she collapsed at his doorstep. The wise elder, a man of great wisdom and compassion, welcomed her and listened to her story. He confirmed that the powerful curse had been cast upon her and explained that the curse could be transferred back to the person who cast it. Curious and determined, Isoke asked for more information on how the curse could be transferred. The elder provided Isoke with a special charm that would glow and warm up when she was in the presence of the person who cast the curse. This way, Isoke would know exactly whom she needed to confront. He emphasized the importance of maintaining inner peace and sincerity during the confrontation. With renewed hope and clarity, Isoke began her journey back home. She reflected on the elder's words, considering the difficult but necessary confrontation with Adana. Despite the challenges ahead, Isoke felt a sense of purpose and determination stronger than ever before. The journey back home was long and arduous for Isoke. She made her way through forests and rocky paths, her strength waning, but her determination unwavering. She stopped again at the village where she had rescued the boy. The villagers were very thankful and welcomed her to stay again. They offered her food and shelter, and their gratitude gave her a brief respite from her troubles. Back in her home village, Isoke pondered the elder's words. She realized she had to find out who had cursed her. The task ahead was daunting, and she knew she needed a plan. Isoke began her investigation discreetly, observing the villagers and seeking subtle clues. She tried to interact with as many people as possible, hoping the charm would give her a sign. Every encounter was tinged with anxiety as she feared the charm might not work. As the days passed, she continued to gain weight, the curse relentless in its hold on her. She visited the market, spoke with neighbors, and even revisited some of the men who had once shown interest in her, hoping to find any indication of who might harbor such deep-seated jealousy or malice. Each night, she returned home exhausted and disheartened, but she refused to give up. One evening, as she conversed with a group of women near the well, the charm began to glow and warm up. Isoke's heart pounded as she scanned the faces around her, but she couldn't pinpoint who it was. Over the next several days, Isoke tried to catch each woman from that group alone, hoping the charm would reveal the culprit. Isoke embarked on a meticulous journey, attempting to isolate each woman from the group. She arranged to meet them under various pretenses, hoping the charm would react. Day by day, she interacted with them, growing more anxious as the charm remained dormant. Finally, after days of frustration and doubt, she managed to get Adana alone. The charm's glow intensified, confirming her suspicions. Furious, Isoke confronted Adana. "I know it was you. You cursed me out of jealousy," she shouted, her anger boiling over. Adana, trying to maintain her facade, denied it vehemently, but the charm's glow betrayed her. Isoke's uncontrolled anger caused the confrontation to escalate. The villagers, hearing the commotion, gathered around. They saw Isoke threatening her stepmother and, unaware of the curse, believed she had gone mad. They turned on Isoke, accusing her of being ungrateful and dangerous. In their eyes, she was attacking a concerned stepmother. As Isoke was restrained and locked in her room, she looked dumbfounded that the curse wasn't lifting. In that moment, she realized she hadn't controlled her emotions, which is why it didn't work. Panic set in and she started screaming for help. But the villagers ignored her cries, convinced she was out of her mind. Isoke cried out for help for days, but even her own father was convinced by Adana not to help her. Desperate and alone, Isoke realized she had to find a way out on her own. She spent hours each day trying to break free from her confinement. She examined the walls and windows, looking for any weak spots. Her body, weakened by the curse, made it difficult to muster the strength needed to escape. One night, as she lay on her bed, Isoke felt a surge of determination. She couldn't allow herself to be defeated. She thought back to the elders' teachings about inner peace and control over her emotions. She began to meditate, focusing on calming her mind and finding inner strength. She repeated this process each night, slowly building her resolve and fortitude. Days turned into weeks, but Isoke persisted. She found moments of clarity and strength, using them to plan her escape meticulously. She began to ration her food, saving small portions to build her strength. She also managed to communicate with her kind-hearted neighbor through a small crack in the wall, receiving messages of hope and encouragement. Finally, one moonlit night, Isoke felt ready. She summoned all her strength and determination, using the knowledge and resolve she had built up over the weeks. With a final burst of energy, she broke through the weak spot she had identified in the wall and escaped into the night, determined to confront Adana once more, but this time with control and compassion.